What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome back to the Sooner Surge for another edition of Double Trouble Live. With us tonight, Hunter joining us right now. Spring game, man, 2 days away now. It sounds like tomorrow morning we'll get updates on if they're going to move the game time. Per Gabe Eichert on Twitter, tomorrow morning, if anything changes for the game time, it will be announced then. So looking forward to the spring game. Man, the visitor list keeps growing, Hunter. The portal list keeps growing for players.
Portal list, what is really interesting.
Oh, my gosh. There's some big names today. Jaden Rashada, quarterback.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Him entering the portal, but not too shocked. That's one that you would expect to transfer again.
Yeah, and I wanted to get this. Gray God. Yeah, no Bleedy at the spring game. That was said today, and here's the deal. You could take this a few different ways. I mean, you could say, well, Bleedy saw that they're bringing in Williams and Lowell and was like, well, they offered another guy or not offered, but you know what I mean? Like going after other guys out of the portal. Maybe he thinks, well, maybe they don't. There's going to be a lot of competition there for the portal. Or it could be maybe, I'm not saying this, but maybe they were like, well, just don't come on because, I mean, who knows, Hunter, right? Because I think looking at who's visiting, I don't think Bleedy was going to be one or two in their choice, right?
I mean, if you look at those three guys, probably not. I don't know. ESPN they were pretty high on Bleedy from what I sent you earlier today. They had him in their top 30 list of portal targets currently in the portal across the ball of college football.
Yeah, but you also had today that UCLA Toya entered today, and Toya is another name. Man, he'd be a great kid.
Right now, I mean, I think that's a little unrealistic.
I
think there's only one guy bigger than Dominic Williams in the portal right now, and that's Toya. Those are the two biggest defensive linemen in the portal. OU really needs to land Dominic Williams.
Yeah, couple of things real quick. Women's gymnastics on right now. Not a good start for Oklahoma. It doesn't look like they're going to advance to the championship unless something miraculous happens.
Right now they're down going into the final event by 1.3 to make the cut. So, yeah, they would need some real Sooner magic and a string of perfect tens.
And they need some help from other squads.
That's what I'm getting at, help from somebody else.
Yeah. Colin says, went to Canes on campus tonight and saw Jackson Arnold feeding the wide receivers Canes, bought for the wide receiver group. Good to see them bottom. That's great. My only bad thing about that, Raising Canes. Why are you going to Raising Canes? Raising Canes
is replace, man.
Raising Canes is low on the totem pole for chicken, buddy.
Where's it ranked for you, Jay?
Well, I rank Chick-fil-A and Slim Chickens both over Raising Cane's and Waldo.
You're not a Chick-fil-A fan. Are you still upset?
I like Chick-fil-A, actually.
Well, you called me a while back and said you're never going back.
Well, I changed my opinion, but there's some things I don't like about him. Here's the thing, Bobby. That's my problem with it. All there is cane sauce. Give me more options. I'm at a chicken place. I want honey mustard. I want other different barbecue sauce.
Wait, you're telling me you can only get cane sauce?
It's stupid. Why is it just cane sauce?
You can only get Cane's?
What?
You're only able to get cane sauce.
That's all you can get at Cane's.
They don't have any other options?
Ketchup. That's it.
Well, I mean, ketchup is the number one, so I mean.
No, Hunter, you should have more options at a chicken place than one sauce.
That's how you know I don't go
and do not put on your menu all these different options of combos. They're all the same. You're either getting 3 tenders, 4 tenders, you're getting 2 tenders on a piece of bread. Nothing's different, dude. So anyway, I don't want to go on a random about Cane's. I'm about ready to, but I'm not going to do it.
Hey, Rex's chicken, very good. Very good. Or Roy's chicken, I'm sorry. Roy's. Sorry. Hey, getting confused in the chat.
I agree, Sooner fan. Honey mustard better than all of them. Yeah, mess. I think we're starting something here with Cane's. Nobody likes Cane's that much. Come on now. Yeah, the honey barbecue, Monty. Man, that's good. Hey, Jackson, Charlie's chicken. We're not even going to compare that to these other ones, bro. Come on.
Hey, I like Charlie's chicken, but I wouldn't put it in that conversation of the best chicken spots out there. I'd probably put KFC above them.
Blake's right. Slim's chicken is dominant. Here's what Slim's has, guys.
Cheese, man.
Slim's. Do you want wings? You can get them. Do you want chicken, grilled chicken, fried chicken? Do you want a sandwich? You want a salad? You want a wrap? All of it. You go to Cane's, you're getting chicken tenders. Bump. That's it. All right, let's get off the Cane's.
Okay.
Let's get off the chicken talk.
Yeah.
Let's get on to it. Bobby says Williams visiting Colorado is interesting because of Sapp. He said he's looking to be developed into the best NFL lineman he can be. And yeah, you could also say, I mean, who's going to develop me? I mean, look at OU. You got a good developer. So I do see what you're saying, though, Bobby. To me, right now on the visitor list of the portal, he's your number one guy that's visiting that you need to get. Now, I'll say this. Hickman at center and the Utah center. The Utah center that entered the portal is taking a visit to Texas A&M this weekend, I think, and then he'll visit Washington and Oklahoma, so he says. Now, we'll see if he makes it to those visits after A&M. You know how that is. And that's the thing with OU. OU needs to get some commitments this weekend, period, from these portal. If they don't, I don't think they're going to land very many of them, Hunter.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I think's in OU's favor is you see with these portal guys, you want to be first. You mentioned the center from Fayu, I believe it is, from Utah.
Yeah.
He's going to A&M first, and then intends for Oklahoma and Washington. Again, intends is not the word you want to hear from his agent. And that tweet from Pete Thamel. So, yeah, first visit, that's what you want. You want that first one. Remember, blanking on the name, but he ended up committing to Texas A&M back in January from Purdue. And first visit is the way to go. So,
yeah, and Jimmy, I want to talk to Jimmy here. Says Sapp has never developed any D lineman. I do think it's funny when guys that play in the NFL, they haven't really coached that much, and people think they're just going to develop a guy right off the bat. You know what I mean? Some guys can. Some guys are. I'll say this: some guys that played NFL football can be outstanding recruiters because you have that with your name, but that doesn't mean you're going to be able to coach really well, right?
I mean, then what are your thoughts on DeMarco Murray then?
I've talked about that. I said, here's what we know about DeMarco Murray. He's a great recruiter. I think the jury is still out on, I mean, think about it. Who's he developed? I think Sawchuk would be the first one where you could say he went from a high school recruit to this whatever great running back. Because the only other one I think that's really just been a pretty good improvement was Eric Gray.
He was with Ramondre Stevenson, too. Stevenson improved.
JUCO. Yeah, I think DeMarco Murray's
improved.
I think DeMarco Murray's a good coach, Hunter. What I'm saying, though, is a lot of guys that haven't – I mean, he's coached more years than some of these guys that we're bringing up.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to argue against the NFL greats. I mean, you look on the defensive line, there's two of them right now. Warren Sapp at Colorado and Jason Taylor at Miami. Like, when those two guys are recruiting you, it's hard to argue, try to convince a recruit otherwise in that because, I mean, those guys are NFL greats. They know what it takes to get to that next level, new to coaching or not. I think they're at the college level or wherever they may be, I think they're going to have success.
Yeah, Sooner fan. I was listening to Jim Allen Dean this afternoon, and they said that after the O-line, the D-line is OU's biggest concern. Do you agree? Well, here's what I would say to that. I'm not that concerned about the D-line, but if you go through position groups on the team, I mean, wide receivers good, tight end seems to be good. Running, I think they're mainly talking that trenches have to be good. and so that's probably why it's a concern. I don't think D-line's going to be a concern this year as far as production. I think they're going to be really good. I really do. And if they land one of these guys out of the portal, I think it's going to be really good. Here's what I'll say about this that's kind of interesting. All these guys that are coming to visit this weekend from the portal, guys like Hickman, guys like Williams, who's the other defensive? Lowell. These guys, if I'm a defensive lineman or an offensive lineman and I play that position that they're visiting, I am going to be doing the best I can to. I mean, you're going to anyway, but you got to feel like they're there to be like, oh, that could be my spot, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that's more of the iron sharpens iron type of situation, because you look at it from both ways. And, yeah, like you mentioned, those guys are – the spring game means even more for them because you have those recruits, those portal targets in town. Coaches have obviously expressed interest for them. And those guys aren't like Dominic Williams, Hickman. They're not transferring in necessarily to be backups. They're transferring in to start. Defensive line might be a concern because you have to see it. I think they'll be really good. But again, you have to see the improvements this year.
Yeah. Chuck, I don't know what this is in what it's regards to. It says how many head coaches are going to put their neck out there for someone who can't coach. Come on, guys. Something that you say just don't make sense. What's that in regards to? Stick their necks out for what? For an assistant coach? Is that what you're talking about, Chuck? I don't know what it's about, Chuck. Actually, I'm confused. I don't know if you're talking about the the assistant coach Sapp. Is that what that's about? Gary says hot take Thursday. OU will strike out in the spring portal. That would be very disappointing.
Yeah, it'd be rough for Oklahoma. Those guys that they already have, you would have to rely on them way more.
Chuck, isn't that what I said? I think I said these guys that play pro ball doesn't mean they can coach. Are you saying you disagree with that?
I mean, I personally think someone that played in the pros has an advantage on a coach.
No. I agree with that, Hunter. But what I'm saying is just because you know the game and you do have an advantage over other means, that doesn't mean you can teach it, though.
Yeah.
I mean, right?
Well, I don't know. It's difficult. I don't think you're going to go to have a successful career in the NFL without having the leadership abilities and skills to be able to eventually be a successful coach if that's what you wanted to do.
I mean, I think it depends on
those goes hand in hand.
I think the guys that are really good, like Sapp was a really good player. I guess I don't doubt much he can coach. I mean, but not all NFL players were great. So I think it does depend. I mean, DeMar Murray was a great NFL player.
Yeah, obviously I get what you're saying on that, but I mean, an NFL player that's below average is still better than 98%, whatever the number is. It's insanely high.
The bomb says hot take Friday. OU will crush it in the spring portal. He's going opposite. Bobby says, I think if you played the position at a high level, you can teach it. What do you think?
I agree. I mean, I think that's why. I mean, how many of those trainers out there you see training high school guys, training college guys going to the NFL, all of that? I mean, a lot of them have NFL experience, even if some of them it's not much. I mean, they just made it there. That's their ceiling was just making it to the NFL, and nothing amounted to it. I think Bobby's right. You play at the highest level of football, you're going to be able to teach it. And I think you teach it pretty well.
Well, there's been guys that haven't, though.
Who?
Well, I could go probably down a list of guys.
Start going.
I mean, are you talking about for a position group or for a coordinator?
I'm more on position groups. I mean, coordinator, I think,
I think the thing is,
argue
I
against it.
depends on the person. Okay, Chuck, I understand this, but there's been plenty of times a head coach has brought a guy on that doesn't pan out. Is that not true?
Is this about Dion? That's what I'm wondering if this whole thing is like stemming from.
I think it's because Dion brought on Sapp, right?
Yeah.
Sprinkle a little money, the bomb says. I agree. They're going to have to. They're going to have to sprinkle some money. Okay, I guess I need to think about who hasn't panned out, because that's what people are going to ask now. Since I said that, I opened up my mouth and said there would be plenty that haven't. Now I got to come up with some names. Let me see. Hunter, I got to think of some. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Doesn't mean anything. Think about a mechanic that's really good at his job. He can bust out cars left and right, but that doesn't mean he's going to get an early entry level guy up to speed. I mean, I think there is something where it depends on your role, I think, coaching. Because if you're having to like lead a team of coaches, that could be different. I mean, than one-on-one coaching and teaching somebody how to play the position. Okay, let me give you an example. Well, you're talking about guys that have played NFL that haven't panned out. That's what we're going with, right?
Like coaching wise, yeah.
That have not panned out in college. I should have looked this up before the live, because now I got to think of it off the top of my head.
I didn't think this was going to be the conversation of the night.
What's that?
I didn't think this would be the conversation.
I think basketball is a better explain of greats not being good coaches. Yeah, Michael Jordan probably couldn't coach. He's not a very good owner.
When did he ever coach, though?
No, but what I'm saying is he's not a great owner.
Owner and a coach is a lot different.
Isn't? No, because he's picking the talent, is he not?
Yeah, but there's a lot more business side to it. And
there is.
Like, I don't think you can compare a former great to being an owner than to being a coach.
I also think there's a lot of guys that weren't very good coaches. I mean, weren't very good players that are way better coaches. You can go down the list. Lincoln Riley couldn't do anything. Was not a great player. He's a great coach. I don't want to say great, but he's a good coach. We all know what he did with the offense. Great offensive coordinator. Tommy Harris, but he didn't coach. We're talking about guys. Now we're getting on to coaches way overpaid. Well, I'll have to look these up for tomorrow night, because I can't do it and keep up with the live guys. So it's going to be kind of difficult.
Hey, look, this comment from Sooner fan Blake Griffin coming back to Norman. That's what he's hoping for.
Coming back for Norman for what?
I guess coach. I don't know. That's what he hopes for.
Well, I mean, what we need is like you saw what Jerry Jones did to the basketball program in Arkansas. He donated, helped them get Calipari. Where's his money to the football team, right?
Yeah, that's got to be frustrating for you as a Cowboys fan to see them. They were the last team to do anything in free agency.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about the Cowboys. I really don't want to talk about the Cowboys at all. Chuck says you can be a good running back and not playing out at a college doesn't mean that you're not a good running back.
Not panning out at college.
Yeah, I don't know. Jed Fish never played football. I think there's a mixture of guys. I mean, we could talk about this all day. There's mixtures of guys that weren't very good football players that were great coaches, and guys that were great players and probably didn't pan out as coaches. So I think there's a mixed bag. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think I think it just boils down to, I think position coaches that play in the NFL, especially coaching the college game, have an upper hand in recruiting. because they've went through it. But yeah, I think it's time to move on.
Jay.
There's people. There's people. We've seen them in the chat. People that didn't play football at any sort of a college level or NFL level, and they're great coaches. It's not one or the other. I mean, there can be a combination of both.
Yeah, and I think I'm with Jen here on the fact that I think when I first made the and I'm not trying to be right, Chuck. I don't really care to be right, to be honest. But I think I was thinking overall coaches or coordinators and not position coaches, because there's a bunch when you look at guys that
and
defense. There's been defensive coordinators that play defense that can't coach a defense, Hunter. That's a fact.
Yeah, I was also more referencing coaching at the college or lower level, not coaching at the NFL level. I think that's part of it, but I don't know. I'm ready to move on. Are you?
Yeah, Mess says NFL greats will have recruiting clout, not necessarily great coaches. That's what I said to start the thing off, but I think it depends on the person. So Chuck agrees with says right, Hunter. So yeah, let's move on. Steven says from eye test, who did best in spring games in the SEC? Well, I mean, I'll say that Alabama quarterback looked better than I thought he might. I mean, I didn't know. I'm still not sold on him. Milroe, for some reason, something about him, I'm not just.
Jalen Milroe is a very good quarterback.
Yeah,
I think you would have to imagine him doing better with Kalen DeBoer as his play caller than what he had last year. So, I don't know what that amounts to for Alabama.
Nico didn't look great. I'll say this: the receivers at Ohio State are what we thought they were. They're loaded at wide receiver. Ohio State's loaded, period. Okay. Ohio State is loaded. Hey, real quick. Great coach. What makes a great position coach? It's got to be recruiting and putting guys in the NFL, right? What would you consider? I mean, when you think about a great position coach, it would be getting highly recruited guys and how you develop them to make it to the next level, right?
Yeah, and I mean, you look at DeMarco, he has two guys right now currently in the NFL.
Stevenson and Gray.
And then the last few years, he's landed a 4-star or higher in the recruiting cycle.
Yeah, I think he's turned out to be a really good coach. I do too. I mean,
Ohio State's quarterback situation, man, it's like I feel like
different.
I don't think Rashada is going to change anything.
I think he's going to go to Georgia.
I mean, why go to Georgia though? I mean, you think he starts there? I don't think he starts at Georgia. Carson Beck is
probably going to Georgia though. I just
a backup.
Maybe I don't know.
It's the Ohio State situation is turning into a Lamborghini in a trailer park. All those
that's a great analogy.
The quarterback situation, like Will Howard, maybe you is it Julian Sayin, I believe, freshman. I mean, I think they would be in a better position to start a true freshman than starting Will Howard with that talent they have there.
Why was Will Howard so highly ranked in the transfer portal? I don't understand it.
I mean, you know my thoughts, but it's April 18th. I feel like we shouldn't be talking about him anymore. It's because somebody else was already out of the portal with it. Quarterback this year was weird in the portal, I think.
Yeah. The Ducks are going to be hard to beat, aren't they? Oregon Ducks. Chuck brought it up.
Hey, there you go. Their spring game is next Saturday, 27th.
Yeah. Dalpo says most improved area of the team next season. Tight end. I say tight ends.
I think that's the safest answer, but it's hard to not go defensive line. Just looking at what that room might look like from August 30th.
Kyla says Howard stunk. Yeah, you know why Howard stunk? Because Howard stinks. Okay. Did you watch him against OSU last year, like 3 or 4 interceptions? He is not a top.
He single-handedly lost that game.
He's
His
not a
bad
top tier
decision-making
quarterback.
lost him that game.
He's not a top tier quarterback.
No, I that is one of the transfers that just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it's weird. Hey, let me get to trivia because I know we've been trying to cut back 5 minutes on the live. So here we go, trivia tonight. This one is it's an OU question, but it's going to be basketball related because Blake Griffin earlier this week announced he's retiring. And this question is not really about Blake Griffin, but about his brother. What number did his brother wear at Oklahoma? Taylor Griffin. Does anybody know what number Taylor Griffin wore at Oklahoma basketball?
I believe I know this. I'm down to 2 numbers, so I won't say it. But.
I will say there's 2 numbers on his jersey. I'll say that.
Oh, I know that, but
not 44, not 45. Chief T-Bird, boom. There it is. 32. I think Chief was the first one tonight. Good job, Chief. Turley, 32.
That was one of my 2. I was going 32 or 23.
Yeah, 32. Good job, Chief T-Bird. So getting back to a spring game a couple days away, the rain, it's going to rain. Looks like it's going to rain. Now,
yeah,
I heard thoughts that they might move the game back to 2:30 or 3 possibly could be an option if the rain comes in.
Personally, from what I'm looking at, again, tomorrow, there's a reason they're waiting till tomorrow morning to make the decisions. The models will be a lot better at that point. But from what I was looking at, it looks like it's going to be raining even more at those time frames. So
yeah, who knows? Chuck says, see that Houston has 26 people in the portal. Yeah, they lost that defensive lineman today. They entered the portal. They're losing a lot. And, I mean, I think I'm still sitting here on April 7th. Is today 17th or 18th? I think it's 18th. I'm still sitting here thinking, wow, OU has really only lost Shane Witter in the portal. That's it. Now, I do think –
but he wasn't a scholarship guy.
Yeah. I do think come Sunday, there will be some portal entries. Sunday or Monday. I think after the spring game,
I would lean more Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, you'll see more. You'll see more then.
Post-spring meetings and all of that.
Hey, Mess says 10 a.m. start. Why not just start at 11 o'clock? That's what they're used to doing anyway. Hunter, do you like the format?
The spring game format? Absolutely not. I think I'm really anti.
Did you hear they're having like a target score where you can hit?
Yeah, it's like something with the fourth quarter. Like it will be like plus, I think they said plus 12 of the leading team scores the target score, and whoever gets there wins. The game's over. So it makes a lot more sense to me if you split the teams up. Maybe it's injury concerns. There's been I don't think as many as last year, but it seems like there's a lot of guys banged up right now.
Yeah. Good night, Lori. Thanks for joining. Hope you have a good night. Good day tomorrow. Chief says, I bet some kids are waiting to see how much run they get in the actual game Saturday before hitting the portal. We'll see. I mean, there will be guys that hit the portal. Yeah, hit the like button, please. We would appreciate that. It's like video game scoring, Gary says. Hey, the portal, I do think it's funny the amount of people that enter the portal that, I mean, we don't cover I can't remember every guy that hits the portal for every team, but there's a lot of players that enter the portal that you probably don't hear from again.
Oh, yeah.
And that's crazy. That's crazy.
For the guy that's not much more than a scout team, special teams guy, it's a big time risk. You're betting on yourself and hoping somebody somehow comes across your tape.
But Hunter, there's guys that enter the portal that maybe have never played at the school they left. They're not going to play where they go. So why wouldn't you just stick it out and get your get your degree?
I think you're going from like OU to Texas State or Sam Houston State. Like you should be able to play.
Well, I'm not talking about, for instance, just you guys. I'm just saying there's a lot
I
of
know
guys.
what you're saying. Brian Bedford, I know he would have the exact number, but it's a pretty high percentage of the guys that enter and never find a landing place after.
Yeah, and some are being asked to move on by BV. But here's the thing, Mass. The ones that have left so far, none of them are really on scholarship, except Shane Witter. So, I mean, I know it opens up a roster spot, right? But it doesn't do anything.
I wouldn't imagine, unless they are planning on doing something. Steven, real quick, not the same Key Lawrence.
Different Key Lawrence.
Keyshawn Lawrence, same name, walk-on linebacker at Ole Miss, not Key Lawrence from Tennessee and Oklahoma. Unless they're planning something to where they're pulling guys off a scholarship and supplementing it, they're going to be, because to get to that 85 limit, I don't think he's telling. I wouldn't imagine guys being told that are scout teams, special teams, those type of roles, especially Oklahoma kids. Hey, we need you to go. I don't think that's the case.
Big Orange, I got Tennessee. How was the spring game for Tennessee? Did you go to the game, Big Orange? Tell us what you thought of how they looked. Kyle is asking, when is spring football over? Any way to cancel it and move to another day? They won't move it to another day. I don't think they would cancel.
I do. It's hard for them to cancel it because, I mean, that's a pretty big revenue type day. I mean,
unfortunately, if they cancel, I think they're just going to cancel it. They won't reschedule.
Oh, yeah. I can't imagine it being played on a different day. I don't know how you make that work, honestly.
Yeah, I don't either.
Hey,
somebody was asking about softball earlier.
Uncle Charlie, Houston softball. Pitching wise, they have a 5.87 team ERA. Not good. They're two qualifying pitchers, ERA 5.05 from Shelby Smith and 5.59 from Paris Layman. So Oklahoma should be putting up a lot of runs at Love Field. As long as that wind's not blowing in, the ball should be flying out. It's going to be a windy weekend against a not great pitching staff. But as a team, they bat .311. Top hitter, Kennedy Thomas, batting .388. Not a whole lot of pop on the team, only 40 home runs on the year. But, they beat Texas. They put up a lot of runs in that series. Oklahoma got to play good softball. Schedule's not getting any easier right now. I think BYU showed you can get beat any given weekend.
Jen says it will not be canceled. And Kyle says Lightning will cancel it. But here's the thing, guys. I mean, I know the rain chances, okay. It's football. And it's going to be 60-something degrees. Like, that's a nice fall day. As long as it's not thunderstorms, they're going to play the game. I think even with a little bit of rain.
Bobby.
It sucks for the fans. That's the bad thing about it.
Yeah, Bobby, appreciate that. I knew it was a high number. Thought it was a little higher, but 42%. There you go.
And when he says don't find a new school, that means they don't even.
They don't. They're in the portal for, until they decide to, for whatever reason, just take their name out and hang it up for good. So it's a tough situation for some guys.
And I did hear today, I don't know if this is confirmed. We'll have to find out if this is confirmed. But I heard some stuff about Paul Feinbaum going to be in Oklahoma for the spring game.
I have not been on Twitter much today, so.
I have not heard if it's confirmed, but I would love that, and I think that'd be great. I mean, he is – when you think of SEC football, you think of Paul – I think of Paul Feinbaum. He's one of the main guys that talks about SEC, though, and backs it. So I think it'd be great if he was there. Hopefully the fans do show up. We'll see if that's even true, Jackson. I don't know. I'll have to do some more research to see. 4% withdrawal and 54% that do find a new school. 13% of them end up at a smaller school. I mean, we've seen a lot of guys from OU. I mean, I can think back to last year. Texas State got 2 or 3 guys from Oklahoma.
Texas State has been a school that has really done well for the last few years. getting guys from Oklahoma to transfer in. Guys in the portal, I mean, they can go back to their school. Most of the time, it's not the case. A lot of places are you're entering to try to leave, and you're not coming back.
Hunter, are you Pate State material?
Yeah, dude, Pate State Quick Trip, man. Did you see that whole thing on Twitter?
Oh, that was great. I like
that. Awesome, dude. Quick Trip marketing team. They kill it. Social media interns or whatever they are. They're great on Twitter.
What do you think about the Quick Trip patch on the Royals uniform? It looks sweet.
It's awesome, dude. I want a Bobby Witt jersey with the QT patch on it, man.
Yeah, it's sweet. Moser should jump in the portal. I do that. Let me say this. I mean, I know we've talked a little bit about basketball, not much, but the fact that the portal's been open this long in basketball and OU has not gotten one player is.
I can't say
I'm too surprised.
Yeah, I can't say I'm too surprised.
Well, it's concerning.
Yeah,
and if you don't land, I mean, now that Roach went to Baylor, maybe OU could get Padula, but
you got it. Like at
why
some
hasn't
point,
he committed? He's already visited.
I don't know.
To me, if you visit from the portal, I mean, and you don't commit right away, the chances I think it drop quite a bit.
Well, and I mean, you look at who they lost. Uzan is going to Houston, McCollum to Georgia Tech, Hughley to Xavier. I mean, tough situation, right?
It's a very tough situation, and for some reason,
the good news in it all, they're not going to be in the Big 12 next year. That's the good news. Man, 4 or 5 play. I think it's going to be the Kings. No Zion, but man, Pelicans pull it out tomorrow night. That'd be huge for the Thunder. Be playing a Zion-less Pelicans, also not having to go against. Man, Kings as an 8 seed it's impressive. I think they're a really good team. Sabonis has now 78 double-doubles on the season. De'Aaron Fox is playing really well. They got a two-way guy that's been playing great.
Yeah, and Kyla, what's the latest on Moore? I think Moore is going to be back at Oklahoma. Personally, I know a lot of people think he's going to go pro. I don't. I think he's going to test the waters, but I don't think he's going to be drafted high enough to go pro.
I'm with you, Jay. I think it's with the way it is, where you can go through the process and still retain your college eligibility. Why not? I mean, if you have an insane combine and get lucky and have a good interview with a front office, I mean, they could be willing to either draft you in maybe the second round or sign you as a UDFA. Why not do that?
Yeah, and Sooner fan. Moore was the best player last year, I thought. So maybe he thought, man, I made a big jump for him. He thought, well, and next year he will be, if he comes back, he is kind of the backbone of the team. It's all going to be, Bobby, it's all going to be around him. He is the cornerstone.
Yeah, he's the best player on the team, and it's not even close. He's the guy you have to build around. I mean, everyone else is gone.
Yeah. And you want to talk about, I know that a lot of people talk about guys that don't improve when they go to Oklahoma. Jalen Moore improved a ton from where he was at Georgia Tech.
Big time. He got better. Him and Suarez improved.
And another one
did not.
Another one that Jeremy said for sure was entering the portal was Caden Cooper, and he's still there, Hunter. So, I mean, I think you thought he'd be gone too. I mean, are y'all surprised that Caden Cooper is still there?
I am. I honestly am. OU baseball just gave up a 3-run bomb. Yeah, they're up 10-8, top of the ninth or bottom of the ninth. But I'm surprised Cooper didn't enter the portal. You still have Caden Cooper. You still have Jacob Cole. I mean, if you can keep and get more back, those are 3 guys to build around. But you got to land people in the portal. Got to land the Oklahoma kids. If that's what you're going to build your whole portal class around, you got to land them. You got them in for visits. You got to be able to close the deal.
I think Forsythe is really good. I mean, I'll say this. Uzan started as a freshman. So, I mean, I think there's a chance Forsythe could. I think it just depends on who else they get.
This is not enough to Dayton Forsythe at all. But if he is starting out the gate for OU, then I think there's some.
I mean,
I think that means it was a very bad offseason for him.
I think that means that he didn't get very many guys out of the portal at guard.
But I think if Forsythe's in your rotation, that's great. I think he's a really good player. It was a small school at Dale, but I mean, the kid's a stud. I mean, he really is. Yeah, all of the big games he's had the opportunity to play in, he's shown up in them. I think it'll translate to the college level too.
Yeah. Hunter, I think I'm going to shave this beard tomorrow night. So this will be the last time you see the beard.
Lasted what? 3 days?
I just can't do it, man.
Can't do it.
Even my wife said tonight, you look like your brother. So,
wow.
Got to shave it. Can't be looking like him. So shaving it tonight, boys and girls. Here we are, 2 days away. All world Sam Godwin will be back. That's right. Sam Godwin will be back. 2 days away from the spring game. Make sure, I didn't say it earlier, guys, and I don't know why, I just forgot, but you see the logo there on the screen, FanStop. How many of you guys have signed up for FanStop? If you haven't, go to the FanStop, fanstop.com. Use code SURGE. You'll get 10% off your first 3 months. I think you have 2 days left to get signed up for the May shirt. And I've seen
2 days.
It's great. The May shirt is great. And you know what I love about it is the fact that now I can go into my closet and I can pick 4 or 5 different shirts already that I've gotten this year that are all different. They don't look nothing like. And different colors. Love it. So appreciate it. Appreciate you guys as always being on here. Carrying the show. Yeah.
Real quick, finals have come in. Baseball gets the win 10-8. Women's gymnastics gets stunned. They're not moving on to the championship. Perfect season for them comes to an end. Chance at a back-to-back national championship is over.
Yeah, and I think they were stunned. The vault got them off to a bad start, and then it was kind of playing. You can't play catch up in the semifinals in gymnastics.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Too many good teams. You just got to be out of your A game the whole time. Which that's what's made them so impressive is what they have done, because
it seems like
hard to do that. You have 1 or 2 bad routines, and it's like could just shoot you in the foot. But
seems like every night they were perfect, and tonight just wasn't their night.
As Jimmy says, got to end sometimes, and it did end tonight. So appreciate you guys, as always, being on here. We really do. I mean, every night y'all carry the chat, and we appreciate that. And we will talk to y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, guys. Weekend is approaching. Spring game is approaching. Going to be a great day in Norman. Hope to see you guys out there. We'll talk to you later. Boomer.